We are live. Hello, we are live on Facebook. How's it
Yes,
going?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yep, we are. Let me turn that off. On, so that way I could see the questions as they're coming through. Okay, perfect. Okay, welcome everyone to our second day of Process and Mastering Love, Self-Love. And so just a little quick introduction of ourselves. We are Dual Dragons. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm JB Atkins.
We just wanted to slide in with the chair that way.
We're a holistic wellness consultant, also known as the Muscle Whisperer. So there's our contact information if you'd like to look further on what we do, or you can set up either a text or call us for any more information on how we work, which will be shortly explaining what we do.
Yes. And so do you want to explain at the end so we could just do a quick review?
Go ahead and start the review.
Okay, yeah, we'll explain what we do more and once we have more people join in. But just a quick review for everyone that was not present yesterday. Okay. So yesterday we talked about identify your why. So we took a couple minutes to meditate and ask yourself, why is self-love important to me? Okay. And so what we did, we had everyone do a body scan. And then that way, during your body scan, I was having everyone just focus on their body to pick up any sensations, any feelings, any visions, any messages. And as we were doing the body scan and just breathing through our body, there was some people that posted their answers of what was the answer to their question, what they got. And I shared my answer is, why is self-love important to me? And I kept hearing, why not? And then I also shared how I felt it in my arms, a little bit on my chest, and on the back of my neck, correct? And so, and then JB did his share also on what was his reaction to the question. For him, it was a little different because he couldn't really focus.
Right. And also our guest speaker kind of elaborate that everyone has a different form of meditating.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's more when I run is really when I could get into that quiet space in my head. So for me to sit down and try to quiet my mind, it's kind of like a big show, so to speak. The lights got to be right. The sounds in the background's got to be a certain level if there's sounds. So for me, when I'm running, I'm huffing and puffing, trying to maintain my breathing. That's for me, just kind of expand and just kind of shut off the noises that are kind of rattling in my head.
And so for him, he was just more focused on his body scan, where he was picking up where he had some body aches and pains. And so it's different. And like he said, take the time to do it on your own if you have to, and just answer those questions when it's easier for you to do this meditation, whether, like he said, running, and just asking yourself that question, why is self-love important to me? The next one was commit. And so what we expressed yesterday is we just took time to meditate and answer our question, why? And now that you have the answer, is like, how will you hold yourself accountable to commit reaching your goal to self-love? And so the one thing I said was, like, from this day forward, you always have to hold yourself accountable, because we are always evolving. We are always in either new relationships, or we are developing new friendships, or we are joining new network groups, or there's a lot of people coming in and out of our love. So we always have to hold ourselves accountable, making sure that we always take care of ourselves first, and we love ourselves first. And we use the analogy of the cup.
Correct. Yeah. So again, just to reemphasize, so imagine you're hosting a party and you're creating your own favorite drink. So you have a nice pitcher. Well, most people are trying to always give first, give everything you got. So you're usually filling up your guest cup. My suggestion is first fill up your cup, take a drink, fill it up a second time. There's
Mm,
plenty in the pitcher. And then go ahead and fill up the cups of your guests. Sometimes some they need a little bit of you. Some of them need none of you. And then you might know some people in your life that are like have holes in their cup.
mm,
And this is where the universe or challenges you. Are you going to honor your boundary? Like, hey, we'll place your cup, come back, and I'll be happy to pour you a little bit of this beautiful drink. Or you could leave the party.
mhm,
And some people have a tough time honoring that boundary because they think it's rude or just the way you guys were brought up. So again, it was just kind of reminding yourself, why would you want to spill on the floor? Why would you want to exacerbate your drink? And again, that drink could be your energy, your time, money, love,
mhm.
where it could be invested somewhere else.
Yes. And what I shared is like we always have a tendency of giving to others first and not ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
It's very important to, just like every morning, what's the first thing you do? You wake up, you stretch, you take care of yourself, and you feed yourself. No one does that for you. So it's the same routine just with everyone else. You take care of yourself first, so that way you always give the best of yourself to others because you have been taken care of. And that's the win-win right there. And so now the last thing we shared yesterday, this is part of the review still, is let's take time. We did a little bit of meditation on just self-forgiveness. Again, what we did is I had everyone put out their hands, and I wanted you just to meditate for a moment in receiving beautiful energy, beautiful light in your hands. I refer to the color magenta because magenta is the chakra color of the hands. So when we do chakras on the hands, you have a magenta color. So what I did is I had everyone put out their hands and just receive that beautiful magenta color yesterday. And once we filled it, yes, that's beautiful right there, that magenta color. Once we filled our hands with that color, what we did is we did like a self massage. We put that color on our head, on the back of our neck. We put it on our chest, our arms, our legs, wherever you needed that color, we did it. And in the process of doing that, it was a way of self-forgiving yourself for holding on to those things too tight. Holding on to the things that were not servicing you or helping you move on. Because once, like I said, why is forgiving yourself an important part of this exercise? Because it gives you the opportunity to move on, to move forward on your path of healing and self-love. So this is just a little recap of yesterday. And today we are going to talk about taking back your power. Again, we tend to give. And even Joanna emphasized this yesterday. We give. And then we forget, wait a minute, I've given too much because now I'm drained, I'm depleted, I've given away my power. All of a sudden people feel that they could tell you what to do, dictate over you, make decisions for you. And that's not okay. That is not okay. So the moment you take ownership is the moment you gain back your power to create change. Remember, you are the only one in charge of your ship, where you go throughout your life. And so by taking ownership is where you guide your ship. No, you don't. Yes, we have assistants and guides that help us through the process, but you are the main navigator of your ship. And so you always have to remind yourself that to take ownership, that you have the power, the ultimate last decision of yourself to keep yourself aligned.
And of course, aspect, it kind of feeds off, so to speak, of the forgiveness technique, or the one of the techniques we like to use a lot. It's called Ho'oponopono, an ancient Hawaiian ritual, which translates to make right twice. So even though it's positioned to be a forgiveness technique, it's also cutting of the cords. So when you give power to someone, or the words in your head, or a story they held on to as a little kid from a random adult or a teacher, or someone that you kind of looked up to, and you took it and hold it into your body, and sometimes it comes out aches and pains or limiting beliefs or challenging for you to kind of break out of a certain behavior or pattern. Go back to the 4 phrases: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And the way they guide it is you continue saying these 4 mantras until you feel that connection almost dissipate. And probably do the body scan and pull out the root, mostly attached to your heart, because we hold it close to our hearts. And then depending on the stress, it could be, stiff ankles, strained neck, and just kind of pull it out and let it go, taking your power back, cutting off from what some people refer to as energy vampires.
And one exercise I want to share now that JB brought that up is, if you're a single person, I highly recommend every time you take a shower, use the element of water to clear away anything that does not belong to you. And use that mantra: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And the two additional phrases that we love to add on is, I release you. So you're releasing the old you, the old beliefs, whatever you were holding on. I accept you. You're accepting the new person you are present at the moment. And so that's an activity if you're single. And if you have a couple, like my husband and I, well, we're like any normal couple. We have our off days. I have my day where he's driving me crazy, and then there's days where I drive him crazy.
Like this morning. For me, I was having this ritual of running daily, and she threw her little fit, her little inner child. I need attention. Yeah. What about me? And I was like,
in my defense, he was running at night when it's our bedtime, when I need my cuddle.
And it's like, fine, I'll run in the morning. So throughout the night, the few times I kept on waking up, she's like, nope, come here.
I didn't do it on purpose. I was very much asleep.
The Pisces moon, that's what did it.
And again, like I said, we have fun with it. We don't hold on to the anger. Yes, not suppress the anger, sadness, whatever the trigger is. Let it run its course. Find something to laugh about, and then make up, whether it's for yourself, whether it's, but that's how we do it, and that works for us. And that's why we show you this many different tools and techniques that we apply, because not one technique works better or more effective than the other. Yes. Each moment is different as we carry vibration, as we choose different things to distract us or to help us elevate our energy, our emotion, our focus. And you'd be surprised how that really affects us.
So as a couple, for couples, this is an activity you can also do. Again, take some showers together. Have those special, I always hear how a lot of couples always complain that, oh, you don't have time for me, or you don't spend time with me, or you're always busy doing this and I'm doing this. Make moments for yourselves. They don't have to be like really intimate and
long hours.
So we take showers together, and that's our time to we take care of each other. I could never soap my bag, even with the sponge, there's some hard to reach places. So guess what? I got my partner here to rub my bag, So it makes that moment special, because now it's become a ritual for us. And then, like I said, when we have our off days,
we address it. Like sometimes
we address it in the shower.
Sometimes we address it together, and then sometimes I want to address it alone, and vice versa. She wants her moment. So just recognizing and speaking from your heart of the boundary you want to address this, but not so much speaking to put up a boundary and protect yourself. And that's different than the metaphor that Rebecca uses of the box. Yes, sometimes events or traumas are so harsh that you have to kind of
put them in a box.
Put it in a box that's sealed proof and nothing's leaking out, and put it aside. because you have to focus on being a mother or being a supportive sibling to if something's going on in the family, or focus at work.
Mhm.
It's these moments in the morning, during the day, like you just start breathing, slowing down your rate, that you
Yes.
can address what might be in the box. And even for like when I was single, there's different activities or techniques you could use. One is lay out your values. Like, what do you value? Okay. Do you want someone identical to you? Is that going to cause, yeah, sometimes it's easy to get along, but you can also almost be competitive to it's hurtful when they win more versus like me is like she's slightly competitive when we play a card game and it's like whatever, like which move are we working on? And again,
Mhm.
someone like myself, I list a while ago trying to do like the visualization and it didn't work because every time I did that and trying to hold on to that energy, how I'm supposed to have this magnificent partner, never manifested. It only came up in toxic relationships. But when I put my intention down, what I valued in a partner, what I value in myself, and then put it in a box or just put it away, start enjoying life, focus on me. Shockingly, did not expect it to happen. The opportunity to meet Rebecca. Okay.
I came along. But like what I said, I wanted to share when, if you have a couple, a partner, anyone, if you have that person, this is a thing you could also do with the Ho'oponopono in the shower with the water. You could embrace each other and say it to each other, looking at each other. What we do is we'll left hand on the heart, right hand on the back of the neck, and then we connect our third eye together. And we'll say that mantra: I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And we'll say, and sometimes I'll lead it and he'll repeat, or he'll lead and I'll repeat. And that's how we do it. We usually say it 3 times
Each.
and then we finish it with I release you and I accept you. So next one is let go. Let go of anything that is not serving you in the highest good. This includes what? This includes?
Oh, relationships, friendships, and habits. Recently, just to kind of add to this, I just recently watched a new documentary on minimalism, and it brought to me a different perspective from what I thought it was and what I've seen throughout the years of having a minimalist life. These people boxed up everything, say physically, and pull out only what they needed, and they realized about 80 to 90% of the things they had was not used. It was still boxed up. They never touched it. So if you could apply the similar concept or technique, box up or write down all the friendship, all the habits, all the relationships, and pull to the side. All right, this relationship is my brother, or this is my coworker, or my friend. These relationships are essential for me to continue. They add to my life and add to their life because I got work. I love community with my family. I love these behavior because I enjoy, say, habits, going for a run, walking, activity or sport, traveling, and then recognize what's still in that other list. Do these friendships really add to your value? Or are they just kind of neutral or draining? And some people have a hard time cutting people out of their lives unless they did them wrong.
We outgrow them.
Yes. So yeah, definitely get rid of all that is holding you back. That's the main thing. What is holding you back? Try to become aware of that. What is holding you back? And also replace toxic people with good people. Really do the effort. Hold yourself accountable, finding those good people around you and really learning from them and growing with them. And also if a toxic person does come along in your path, it's like,
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in my life and reminding me, of what I value, and move on.
And I gotta admit, this was one of the hardest things. And even my wife says I still have some of these tendencies. So from where I was, a couple of years ago to now, it's a journey, a process, and just the traumas I experienced, for me, I had to hold on. So for some reason, I had this. Why do I don't know why. I did the work, and sometimes you don't even know why, but you just do the work, and it allows it to be easier. So I'm cleaning up like my Facebook list. I'm cleaning up my contacts in my phone. I'm cleaning up the old emails. I'm cleaning up uh, random anywhere you could find like a group of friends or like different social media performance, and it's been liberating. Sometimes it was painful, but like when I actually let it go or deleted the contacts, it's like, what was I really holding on to?
Yes. And so then you replace those destructive habits with good habits. So this is an exercise where, like my husband was saying, you really have to put the work in and really just hold yourself accountable. Like he mentioned, he used to have like tons of people on his phone, and I mean his phone was going off all the time. And we were not married yet. We were just friends. And he was that type of person that always gave. And what was interesting is because he would, someone would call him, I need help to move my sofa from here to here. And there he was flying over there. And then I looked at him and I said, what are you doing? And he said, what do you mean, what am I doing? And I'm like, why do you drop everything to help these people when I've noticed that none of these people have ever turned around and say thank you, or how can I help you, or let's do something together? They just like, they're gone. And it was interesting seeing that. And I was like,
And then she pointed out that I still looked and felt lonely, and I wasn't seeing myself.
yes. So it was really that deep,
Continuous work.
The work where that was his way of not feeling lonely. But it was a habit of replacing, instead of doing the deep work and saying, why is it not okay for me to be alone sometimes? What is this really about? And so then having him do that work and realizing that it was time to let go a lot of these people, because honestly, they were just using him and not being a true friend.
And if you put yourself in a position to be consistently giving and not like Joanna, our speaker from the other day, as much as you give, you receive. As much as you receive, you give. And if you don't find that healthy balance for you, you would be drained and alone, regardless how many people or connections you have in your life. Because like she was right, I'll call them and ask them, like they'll vent, and then there'll be another day I need a vent. I call them up, and I'm trying to vent or open up, and it's like I don't have time, or whatever excuse they weren't available.
I can't talk to you right now. Bye.
And I'm like confused as heck. It's like, I thought we were friends. Are we friends? And again, like I said, my process is similar to, we'll put up the link of a great documentary, The Minimalist. One of the gentlemen made the list and did one at a time. Once a day, removed a habit or behavior, or in his case, was something physical that wasn't really adding to his life or useful for their life. Another gentleman wanted faster. So he had everything packed up like he was moving and a box, what he needed for the next 3 weeks. And within 3 weeks, 80% of the stuff was still in boxes that he didn't use. So imagine using this similar technique with yourself.
Yes.
Write it down or put it in boxes. When I'm happy, when I'm angry, what brings me joy, activities I have to do, work stuff I have to do, responsibilities I have to do. And then again, recognize which one does really matter for the next 30 days. And notice which of the lists that you don't go back to. Like the behavior played on for so long. Like when I was throughout life traveling or in the military, I had taken thousands of photos. And I can recall 2 or maybe 3 times that I intentionally went back to look at those memories. It's like, I've been there. Oh yeah, I remember that. But the fact that we just continue, we have this behavior to just constantly collect because we think it'll fill in the void or fill in that space. It's okay to have a lot of stuff. but do they all bring you value? Do all the behaviors bring you value? Do all these people bring you value?
Mhm. Yes, definitely. So with this, the Let Go, I want to emphasize right now on Netflix, there's a series called Guide to Meditation. I finished watching it
By Headspace.
by Headspace, and it's really, really good because they're very short. They're like 20 to 30 minutes. The each episode, there's 8 episodes, and he really just kind of breaks it down in a very simple format for anyone who's having a hard time meditating or trying to find what kind of meditation works for you. He describes different kinds of meditations that he learned and is sharing, and it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I took really good notes from it. And there's one where he emphasizes on helping you let go, let go of things. And so it's really, I highly recommend it. On Netflix, it's called Guide to Meditation. And so again, surround yourself with good people, or with good things or good energy. Or for me, when I have those moments of I need to surround myself with something because I feel overwhelmed or something's going on with me, I go to the beach. And I always go to Laguna Beach. That is my healing place. And I go specifically to the Montage Resort, where the beach, you could go walk down to the beach there. And
Treasure
that
Island. Yeah.
I know, I love it there.
That was great. Yeah.
Are there beaches closer? Yes, but then again, you got to find your place.
Yeah, that's my sacred place.
And for me, any beach is fine. But again, that's my perception, the energy I carry. And even just kind of talking to this, it's like, because I was holding on to all these empty, unfilling, almost purposeless. They had the purpose, but purposeless for me, very little to no benefit kind of relationships. It affected also, say, in a business capacity where business wasn't flowing because I was holding on to this old energy, and I had a hard time of letting go things, or just being okay with sometimes they're not meant to be in my life, and just accepted that as this.
Yeah.
And as you recognize, this is similar to the 4 steps that we've been sharing since the Healing Trauma series.
Yes.
Awareness, interview, asking a lot of questions, forgive,
integration.
Surround yourself with that self-love, because once you pull the weed, do you really want an empty space? It's naturally going to fill with whatever plants there, versus you intentionally plant yourself with good people. And when I was doing the work, like I started 2 years ago, when Rebecca kept on bringing to me this, and I was like pulling teeth, nails, and on a chalkboard.
He was like a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. I don't want to let this go.
More people started coming into our lives. And then as I did the biggest flush a couple months ago, right about when we started the series, more opportunities came up. Yes. More people wanted to be around me. More of the right people wanted to be around me. More of the people aligned with helping me step up. Like, yes, I had the conscious, I want to be better. I want to raise my vibration, but I was still holding on to the weight of the heaviness. So when people I was reaching out to help pull me up, there's like, no.
Nope.
And
they're not responsible of pulling you up because only you can pull yourself up.
Correct. So once I let go of that weight of me holding on the behaviors, the relationships, the whatever stuff that wasn't serving me, they kind of grab my hands like, this is how you could get up. But they didn't really pull me up. They show me how to get up, and I got up on my own. And they'll give a little hand, but they won't fully embrace their full weight.
Yes. So immerse yourself with uplifting people who truly love you, support you, and respect you, and who serve in the highest good. And to me, that's very important. It's a value. It's a hard value, especially when you're young, because you want to be friends with everybody. You want to be good with everybody.
And the quick story to that, it's like when I moved from a place in Bakersfield down to Los Angeles area, I didn't know if the teacher said it out loud, but I heard it clear as day. Damn, another dumb Mexican.
Mhm.
I'm looking around, it's like all these kids look Mexican, but I'll be the friend. Who is it? Like I'm looking around, not realizing that I internalize this thought. And as much as I did the mental work of I forgive her, but I never, again, like I mentioned the other day, I suppressed my emotion. I didn't do the emotional work along with the
Mhm.
mental work. And the physical work may be writing a letter or, saying it out verbally. And
Yes.
that's why we keep on referring to the mental, emotional, physical. Because if you're holding on to one of those three, it becomes an energetic block,
Yeah.
which then will be challenging for you to elevate, ascend, grow, heal.
And talking about immersing yourself with uplifting people, we have Debbie. I have to say, ever since we met Debbie, she brought in this new energy. And we met her through this page, through the Healers Roundtable. Someone referred her to us, one of the members.
And then
And
someone else again confirmed, oh, you should really work with her.
yeah,
And just,
Hey.
Can we be transparent, Debbie?
Yeah.
Being like new to letting go and like, do we want to deal with this energy? I don't know about the energy. It was like,
it was like at first it was like, wow, she has a lot of energy. But it was a little,
Oh, I've never been told that.
it was like, woo, that's a lot of energy.
I know
Like-
I can control it.
yeah, it's not about controlling, it's the fact that you constantly being you. And then
Yeah.
of course we're still processing whatever point of view or judgment about what was
Old beliefs.
old beliefs.
And that's
Yeah.
what I love about you, that you brought that to us, that awareness of letting go that old belief and saying, you know what, let me play with this new energy. Let me be open to this new energy. And from that energy, doing that process with you, you have, shown us so much. And it's like, whoa, like I would have never expected what we've been able to, trade and share with each other, and all the knowledge that you offer and give, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, your energy is not overwhelming at all no more, because like I said, it was my belief or my way of protecting myself from others, because
Mhm.
and that was one thing I became aware of, that I tend to protect too much. And sometimes it's okay to not, be so protective and open up a little bit, because you never know what that person brings into your life. But
Yeah.
at the same time, keeping that balance. So I'm
Yeah.
thank you with that. I wanted to share that story today, because I wanted to share how it just turned things around for us, this new your relationship, this new friendship that's forming. And I love that.
Right. And there's that saying, that you resist should persist, I believe. So there's one thing to resist and there's one thing to be aware of what's not safe for you. So,
Yeah.
and one thing for the way I sense it is like if it's heavy or it feels like it wants to overempower me, like a pressure on my chest or my throat or my mind,
Mm-hmm.
then that's like I need to stay away versus
Yes.
say Debbie's energy is like, that's a little crazy. Last time I've dealt with this kind of energy before, but I didn't feel no heaviness. I didn't
No.
feel no pull like
That's good.
right. That's the thing. It's just acknowledging, okay, there's something within me that I have to work.
It was more along the lines where we got invited to a party that was a little too wild. And we're not
And
used to it. And so it was just kind of trying to adapt yourself, like, oh, okay, I know the rhythm now.
Okay, I get in there play. Yeah.
That
That's the juggle as a healer. You're like, is it too much? Is it too scary? Am I ready? But the more what you guys are saying, the more you shed, then it makes more room for more to come in, and then you get braver. But we're the new versions of healers now, so we're a little different. We come at, you don't have to be conservative. You don't have to hold it. We don't have to go behind the curtain and talk about it. We can go blah. Now look at us. We're like live on a billion people here that could be listening. So that's new, but it could be scary too.
yes, exactly.
Right. So that's the thing about trusting yourself is, find your, if it does feel light to me, work through it. If it
Mhm.
feels heavy, choose a different path.
So Debbie is the owner of the Mermaid Cottage Seaside Sanctuary. She's a crystal energy healer, teacher, holistic wellness. There is her email if you want to reach out to her, and also her number. I highly recommend you guys do a session with Debbie. It was we did a trade, we worked on her, and she She did a service on us, on what she does, and it's incredible. Like I gained so much more knowledge from her, you know, and she just, like I said, she just expanded that bubble around me, like just being more open, and that, you know, it was awesome. I highly recommend it. Reach out to Debbie.
Yeah, my mom already did it.
I
She
know.
couldn't
Oh,
wait.
your mom's great. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
back at you. You know, you guys are really good too. You can hit those little spots and go boop, you know, and the pain just pops away, whatever you're hanging on to in that little spot that's like getting you every morning. Like, oh, you know, you can go make it pop right out. You know, doesn't have to be huge, hard muscle work. It's the release of whatever you're hanging in there.
Correct.
So I do the same thing, only a little, you know, more above your body. So,
Right.
but it's far out work, isn't it? We should do another one.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We should. And I'm going to go ahead and do the stop share. So now Debbie can talk.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I can add a lot to what you guys were talking about, and I just got back from a long, long drive up through Oregon and Washington, and you were talking about Treasure Isle. That is absolutely one of my favorite beaches to go diving at and go skin diving at, because that is a magical cove, and they haven't, even though they put the big hotel there, they didn't change the water and they didn't change the cove, and it's like where the mama dolphins come in to teach the baby dolphins. I've done baptisms there. I mean, Lemurian baptism. It's an amazing little beach, and you can always see what's going on with our water there. But all of Oregon coast is like that, only with no people. So I just got back from that, and it was so rejuvenating. I recommend anybody just get in your car, man, and drive and get out of here, because it feels so good when you get back. All this life force coming back at you, so you feel good and clean. And you were talking about opening up and clearing things out and getting up in the elements, whether it's the sun or the water, the wind. I was up in some really psychotic wind, but you just lean into it and just whoosh, just let it blow everything out, you know, that you've let go, or you think you've let go, and let go a little further, a little further. And JB, you were talking about, yeah, I thought I was done with that, but then it was there. And that's the whole battle with love and expansion, is the more you let go, you know, then you have room for a little more, whether it's your friends or your family, or you know, just little bits in your heart, just constantly trying to, oh, I don't know, okay, oh, I don't know, you know. So but each time we do, then it's like boop, you got a little more room. And that's the key as a healer, is to just keep expanding your heart. And it sounds so scary, like, what, I gotta go bigger, I thought I'm big enough, you know. But you keep going bigger, and everything is done through love. And that sounds so cliche, but it's really true, especially as a healer. I just came home with these big, huge, humongous, big rose quartzes. I've got some bigger than my head and my chest here. I'm as you're talking, I'm like, I have to touch them, you know. They really help bloom you bigger. And talking about self-love, that's what rose quartz's gig is to help you love yourself better. And it's like bathing in butter or honey, you know. It just warms you up so that you feel more lovable and more loving, and then you're emanating more love, and then more lovable people come to you. And um all of a sudden you've got more loving people with you, and all the cranky people have left. And you know, whatever stage you're at, it's never like boom, you're done. It's constant. It's absolutely constant. So that can be discouraging, thinking, oh, I thought I was done. But no, you just got to keep going, keep going. You can do it. And when you're feeling sad, just grab your big hunk of rose quartz and go back to bed, you know, or put it under your bed or by the side of your bed, or um, different things just help you peel off those layers, that whole onion thing. And you're like, and all of a sudden a layer goes poof, and the wind catches it, and it's blowing through the kitchen. So, you know, it's continuous. Absolutely. It's a really wonderful time right now, because we're approaching spring, and this whole gig, like we're in February and spring starts officially next month, and Chinese New Year just started. So here we go. And it's exciting. Like my jasmine is starting to just kick ass out there and go, hi, here we go. And it's such a strong smell that's like, okay, here comes spring. And that's exciting. Like to me, that opens your heart up, that smell, which is so strong, to open your heart up like hope, possibility. And so spring's always exciting because it's bringing you to summer. So, and summer's when I get to really get in the water every day, and the water can wash that stuff off of you too. And while you wait for the warm water, you can get into the bathtub and do it, and take your big rocks into the bathtub with you, and make your whole bathtub that blessings of warm, loving energy to help you, grow again, especially when you're feeling sad and down, whatever it is right now. If it's the stuff that's going on in our world, or the people you just let go and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this. And every year I try to do with before I go on a trip, or even it's just the seasons, to release release everything I no longer need. And I call it a shed. And or you're just shedding things that you don't need and let them go away, and let those elements take them away, whether it's the wind, the water, the earth. And then I like to seal it with a fire, which helps fire it out even better. Um, so, but the shed can sometimes become a flu. That's a big thing. And I think flus are, they're just your body, your vibration is shifting again, and you're growing, and that vibration might give you the sore throat, or the tonsillitis, or the ringing in the ears, or the plugging up of the nose and the eyes and all that stuff. You're just shedding another layer. You're shedding out the crap you've been collecting all year. And that's what I've always thought those big flus were. So that's what COVID could be. The whole world is just shedding, a big shed. My guides were telling me that it's the big shed. And then the people who aren't making it are the ones who are just done. They're just done. So it's time for them to go. And I had these new guides come into me when I was up in the woods, and there's like, things have to die away for new things to be born. And it's it's got goosebumps. And it's a real fact. That's just how the world works. We have these big tragedies, and we have these big tsunamis, and these big things, and they do this big clean out of people. And it sounds harsh, but think of the dinosaurs. It's like they were too much, they were too big, their heads were too big, their hands were too tiny, and they just couldn't get enough oxygen, and boom, they were all gone, because whoop, all those volcanoes sucked all that air out, and boom, down they went. So it's another way of growth. It's another layer of growth. And it's harsh, but it's true, and it's constant. It doesn't change. So the shed, so when I have a shed, I used to get these big, like a big flu, like once a year, and I get a fever and a throat. When my throat goes, then I'm supposed to be quiet. And it'll, the longer I need to be quiet is how long my sore throat will go. And then when my eyes go, when they're just gooey and you just can't see, and you got this fever, I need to quit reading. I need to quit looking at the devices. I need to quit talking to people and trying to communicate. So go within, so you have these sheds. And then I'll have like this, what I just went through, I had like this weird little rash going on. I'm like, what's this? It was all around my heart. I'm like, oh, okay, shedding a layer off my heart. And then the minute I started like, oh, that's what it is, poof, the rash went away. So we manifest these little things. Sometimes we manifest big things, big scary things, the cancers and stuff, but you can still release it through these emotional layers you're shedding. But the self-love thing that you were talking about, that is a big topic that's come up during this whole COVID deal, right? It's like going within, taking care of yourself. And, as Californians or Americans, we're not like allowed to stop. We're supposed to go, 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 go. So it's cool that we get to do some self-love. But the self-love thing is really important if you're a healer or someone who is giving all the time and in service. Yeah, you don't take care of yourself. So this rose quartz definitely helps you do that. I have other rocks that I like to adapt to that help me self-love. I got these two big crazy beasts I just got. Let me see what this thing is. This is actually a sperm whale tooth that's 7 million years old. And so is this one. These are really bizarre, but they fit in my hands amazing. There's fossils, so they're hard and they're dark. So a lot of the dark crystals can help you just as much as the lovey crystals to ground. And so you ground and helps you release. And once you feel solid. I have these in my hand today because I haven't been on a Zoom since my vacation and I'm still kind of out there in the ethers, very grounded right now. So to come in here and feel calm and focus with you guys. But the grounding rocks can really help you release deeper, in your gut, in your belly, in your heart, that space in between your bra and your belly button that gets so upset when we're upset. You get your intestinal stuff that's like going on and like, oh, I don't know, that's, you need to ground that. And it's that space between your heart chakra and your power chakra, which can get in dismay, or between your belly chakra and your sacral chakra, especially when you're doing with the love stuff and the mate stuff. You'll need some more orange stones that'll help you ground that and release that. So I'll transition to that one. So these are orange selenite. So there's selenite. These are not very expensive, but these are really great on your belly and your sacral to help release. Selenite's usually white, and it clears and clears and clears. So you can expand with the orange selenite. I just picked these up because I'll be using these on folks, and they don't collect anything negative, but because they're orange, they're really good on releasing your sacral stuff for sex, for love, for, all the lovers you've had, or all the relationships you're feeling bad about or guilty about, or even the relationships with your parents that, those are the big buttons that come in, or your ex, and you think you've gotten rid of your ex. And then the minute you get rid of your ex, retrograde comes around and boop, they show up on your driveway. So, that kind of a stone like that can help roll that on out further. And then if you're having, belly stuff or gut stuff, it can help release that out further. And to me, it's like the minute I realize, oh, that's what it is, it stops. So the more you continually release, the better you get at it, like JB, you were saying, oh, I was like, I had all these people and I was trying to let go of them, and they were, the more you let go of someone. I just did another big purge a couple of months ago, and from what I've been talking to a few people, between the politics of the what do I want to call it, the plague, from the politics of the plague to the politics of our president, a lot of people have broken up, whether it's just the people you hang out with or the people you clung to during this time, because that's who we had right next to us. Or, there was a lot of people breaking up, not always couples, but like a lot of friends too. And I had big ones like that too. And I was feeling really, really, really bad about it. But what happened? Why is what, and then I'm finally feeling better, because the minute I did, you sweep the floor and you empty the boxes, like you said, and all of a sudden you got space. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I collect people. Well, like my house is full of a lot of crystals, right? But the minute you make room, then something else can come in. And that's a cliche too, but it's really true right now. Like, we're all going through that. You were talking about people putting stuff in storage. And a lot of people are bailing and doing the tiny house thing and the van thing, and they're getting rid of all their crap, right? But the emotional stuff really works too, and it's exciting. Well, you guys popped in the minute I made some room in my life. There you are. Boop, there. I'm like, oh, they're cool. I like them. You guys feel like Larimar to me, both of you, especially this morning. Larimar's this groovy little light blue one, but it's very friendly and sweet and watery and loving and starseed, but dolphiny at the same time. And the making room thing, I'm going through that a lot still. And if it once you finally do it, it's so scary, but once you finally do it, you're like, oh, this is what it feels like. You get like high off it, right? It's like, oh, and you just feel this lift out of your throat and your heart, and your ears get room, and then you can hear more things. Gosh, I got to go up to this place called the San Juan Islands, which is above Oregon, above Washington, and it's technically in Washington, but you could see Canada just a little bit. But we couldn't really tell. We were on this island. We're like, is that Canada? Is that Canada? Is that Canada? And my friend's like, we're not allowed to go to Canada. They won't let us in. So, but it was really far out up there to be on an island so high in the ocean, but this Arctic wind would come in and it just had so much life force in it. I mean, you don't know, we think we have good air here, but until you get somewhere where it's really, really fresh, where there's no people and it's only a few beasts in the water and a few, they had these little deer called hinds running around. They're all like very open, not afraid. And you feel that life force from something so pure. It's just, I feel like the whole insides of my body are different again because and it's just the air, but you can feel it, you know, in your scalp and in your skin. And, you know, you have to be covered up because it's so cold, but it comes into your body and it's like, oh my gosh, if I could share this with everyone and throw that into their body, they'll just feel so much better. But the shedding thing and the opening and forgiving and loving and even taking a drive and taking a vacation and not really making too big of an agenda so that you're popping yourself, we're going to do this, we got to go see this, we got to see that. That's like, that can be really cramping, especially now since we've had this whole plague thing and all of our schedules have been shifted. Leave some open time for things to happen, for things to come to you. Oh, it'll make me cry. But to open the door and have some random so that you can let nature come in and bring you those gifts. And you ask your guides and your angels and your people to bring me this. I'm ready for this. And then you make room for it. And then, you know, because some people are like, oh, I can't hear my angels. I can't hear my guides. But it's like, it kind of makes some more room and clear stuff out of your, literally in your little auric field and push it out. And then a little more can come in. But, you know, after you do this purging and love yourself and bring some good vibes into your system. And these are really good under your bed too, you know, if you have a little house, but you can, I like to suggest putting them in between your mattress and your box springs, if you still have a box springs, and put them under there and it'll hold them there. And then no one sees them and you know you're there, especially if you're into it and your mate's not. You're like, well, he doesn't want crystals in the bed. Well, he has to get used to the crystals in the bed. He just does. Or you can just stick them in that in-between spot and it'll slowly, it's a slow pulse. This is not a sharp vibration. It's a very slow, loving, creeping vibration that comes into your soul, you know. So it's not a big one, not like these things. These are really dramatic. But you know, when you make more room and you ask and then it comes, and it's so exciting, especially now, springtime. It's a really nice time to, you know, open those windows up. We get this, but a lot of people getting radical weather, but that radical weather is like the earth purge also, and changes the vibration of everything outside. So open those doors up, you know, put your jackets on and your socks and open those doors up and let that energy in. I've had quite a few birds come in the house lately, which is always interesting. If you look it up in the old pagan books, it's like someone's going to die, which could happen a lot right now. But I always see it as literally new opportunities flying in. And I've had 2 hummingbirds come in lately and leave all the little feathers they became stuck on the ceiling because their wings go so fast that the vibration made these little feathers stick to the ceiling for like weeks. It was so weird. I'm like, okay, really fast vibration is flying in the house. What do you do with that? But just part of the change. It's exciting. Oh, really exciting. I could talk a little bit about some more different crystals you guys can use. Let me put my big teeth down. So I've talked about the rose quartz, which is the big, slow pulse loving. It is really good for your skin and stuff too, though. Really good to relax your face and relax your muscles and once you relax your face, like you guys worked on my jaw, holding all this shit in my jaw. And you know, this will help you like relax that and relax your skin. And that's why it's called a beauty stone also, because it does help you relax that. But if you get into the love stuff and the self-love stuff, it starts with all the pinks. Absolutely. So I'll show you some more pinks. This is a lovely new stone that one of my little minor dudes his name's Terry Turretine, and he discovered, and we named this, it's from Nuevo, and it is a groovy, soft, silky pink. I've got it in about 4 shades of pink, but it has girasol, which is it's a really ugly word, but whatever. A girasol, rose quartz, a little bit of opal, and then another little bit of something we haven't quite figured out, something more grounding, because this helps really like open up this other type of silky. It has this foggy kind of silky look on the inside of it, and it just gives you this softer grooviness to it. And if you wear one or just work with one or hold one, it just opens you up a little more, you know. And I would say with this self-love thing, this has helped me appreciate myself a little more. And it's hard to do that, even like this stuff, even looking at my little face here in this square. It's hard for me to do, like to appreciate what I do and love what I do. And I'm always giving, like you guys. But this one will help like you appreciate yourself a little more, and then be a little not so hard on yourself about, oh, I should be, all those things we think we need to be doing. And this is a lovely little baby. This is there's Peruvian opals that are blue, and then there's these peachy ones. You know, that yummy peachy pink color that came out about 2 years ago that we all absolutely adore, and it looks really good with regular pink. These are polished, really, really soft. These are, I think these are only like $6 or something. I have a ton of these, and these are just silky and lovely and just way better than anything else you could eat for Valentine's. You know, put these on your neck, in your throat, in your bra, on your little forehead. Really soften your heart and love yourself a little more. Okay. Okay, this one's talking at me pretty loud. Well, no, let's do these first. So I was up in Oregon, like I said, and then these are some Oregon agates, and they're kind of that foggy, pinky, peachy color too. I have quite a few different versions of them. Those are raw ones. I haven't scrubbed them yet. I've literally just got home, but they're, I need to scrub them so they look a little prettier. But I have some polished ones too. Ah, they're not here. Wait, here's one. They're kind of glowy. They're just an agate, you know. Agates aren't expensive at all, but they're just lovely, and they just kind of make light of a situation, help you have fun, have a little more laughter. And if anything will help you with your heart, laughter will, you know. Screaming is good. You can scream at the ocean. That's always good. And get it out of your belly, but the little laughter ones will help too. And this is a new one I just got. It's called Cobalto Calcite, which is kind of a hot pink, but this was sort of a mellow hot pink. It's a yummy, look, it's the color, it's more the color of my skin. And it's sparkly. I only got one of these. They were kind of expensive, but I can get more if anyone's interested. This one's really nice. So any kind of pink rock, any pink rock, it's going to help you like clear, clear, open, clear, clear, open. And as a healer, we get really tired, but we need to refuel. So the pink rocks really help you refuel again, and then you can give more. Refuel, and then you can give more. So even if, you know, if it's your mate, even if it's your dog, you find yourself, you're yelling at your dog or yelling at your cat, you're like, okay, I need to calm down. Or the opposite way, like I know if I laugh at something and my dog looks at me like, what was that? You're like, shit, I'm not laughing at all, am I? So I have this little chihuahua, and it's funny when she looks at me like, oh, what was that? Just because I cracked up at something. I'm like, okay, we need to work on that. So the love rocks can help you open up your heart to be a little lighter, you know. Then there's some intense pink rocks, and these are not for the faint of heart. I think I talked about these last time. This is a kunzite. Kunzites are incredible. You can have a teeny tiny ones. I have teeny tiny ones that are only about this big. You put that in a pouch in your bra, it just lifts your healer skills up bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it does not let up. And if you want to write, really helps you get those words in and out your hand and write. And I write constantly. So these were a big one that turned me on. But as a healer, these really, really refuel you. And just as a human, if you're super empathic and you feel everything all the time and get overwhelmed, these help make you stronger. So it has these little striations in it. If you see it, it's kind of woody, but kind of woody like a tourmaline. and they just make you stronger. They just put these like layers around your heart, like I can handle that. Gets you a little goddessy, a little like warrior. But for me, it's just, I mean, I don't like to say I'm a love warrior, but I used to say I was a love warrior. Like I can help you do that. We can make you stronger. But Kunzite does it in a different way. I don't want to fight anyone. I don't like to fight at all. I run from, I don't know, I run from fighting. I'll say, I've closed the door to fighting. You know, I just got in a situation this week where there was these words coming at me. I'm like, nope, not going to take that. So, and that's kind of how you have to be sometimes. Like, you know what your limit is now. So let's just keep that and let's go forward. Forgive yourself, forgive them, use the honopono. And I like how those other two words you put on there, you said what, accepting and release and accepting. And that's important too. You just keep doing these layers, and let it go. I put that on my face mask, honopono, and I needed one more word, so I'll put accept on there. To, you know, whether they just think I'm bonkers, I've got that written on my mask or not, but they'll still read it. And it's very, 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 very good. Now with the heart and the loving yourself, you start with the pinks, but you can definitely go in on the greens too. I believe our heart chakra is pink and green. So love and healing, love and healing, love and healing. I came out of the chute at birthing. I want love and healing. So it's pink. My colors are definitely pink and green, but they've evolved into blues and purples also, which is spirit speak. So I'm pink and green and purple and turquoise. But if you come to my house, it's pretty dang turquoise out there. But some basic purple stones can be like this one. I just got this one. I only got the one. It's see the groovy white lines. This isn't amethyst, but has the white lines and the zigzag. So it's chevron amethyst because it's got all these. And this one's tumbled and it fits in your hand really bitchin'. It's just like, yeah. It helps sort out your spiritual information that you're getting. It's all those little lines like, what do I do with that information? I don't know. But this one helps you go, put it here, put it there, use it this way, use it that way. So it's a good one. I've been hugging this since I was driving with it. So it helped me. Because when you drive like 2,500 miles, you get a little tripped out, you know, you start seeing stuff. What was that? So a good grounding stone can help you with that. But if you're in spirit all the time, this can help you sort out what you're feeling. Let's see. I didn't grab some pink ones, some green ones for this morning, but there's a plethora of green crystals. Green tourmaline is probably the best for your heart, I would say. A real casual one is called adventuring. I always think green adventuring. It's not expensive. It has a little bit of a sparkle in it, and it gives you hope. Heal and then gives you hope. And so we all need that when we're going through all of our love things and our self-love things and this stupid Valentine holiday. If you're single, it's stupid. If you're not single, you're like, okay, what are you gonna do? Where's my chocolate dipped strawberries? Sorry, that was a little catty. But I've got these other stones in front of me that are really talking at me is some of the blue stones. And I think the blue stones can really help, you know, that's your throat chakra. So that's your truth. What's my truth about this situation? What do I really, really feel about that? You know, in your throat, even when you're talking sometimes and your throat gurgles up a little bit where you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, I guess I don't really want to say that, or, oh, I don't know if I really believe that, or I need to really believe that because I'm choking up on it, you know? So listen to your throat. Your throat really helps you with your real truths. And as you get older, your truths will shift. And so the blue stones are super important for me always. But I talked about the Larimar a minute ago. Becky, did you get Larimar? Did I make you get Larimar yet? This one?
Not yet, no.
No? Okay. But anyway, this is it. It's that color of like if you're flying to Hawaii or somewhere gorgeous and you look down, you know, and you're getting to that last leg of the flight and you look down and the way you're like, oh, there's the water. There it is. We're almost there. You know, and that's what this stone does to you. It gives you this fabulous hope and excitement and it's a real thrilling feeling. And sometimes it's like a thrilling fear. So like, oh no, I'm gonna have to, am I gonna get in the water? Am I gonna go diving? Are there gonna be sharks? What's gonna happen? You know, so this one kind of does that to you. But you know, we have that little divot right there. It's perfect for a crystal. Perfect. And this will help you shed layers of fear about your truth, or saying what you really want to say to your mate or to your parents or even your children, or be softer to your dogs. You don't yell at your dog. I yell at my dog, I'm sorry. But not now. I've been gone for 2 weeks. She missed me big time. Now this is my a little cup of aquamarine. Looks like a little boat of aquamarine. I always have aquamarine. Aquamarine is definitely the mate to Larimar, and you kind of need them both together. But aquamarine, not the little tiny lab grown ones that they have in like Jared Jewelers or whatever. You know, get yourself a raw one. These raw ones are okay there. And these are mined local. There's a mine called Pala, and they have tons of aquamarine. Oh, there's the price tag. That was nice. This one's got lots of light in it. They catch a lot of light, but on your throat chakra, man, they just help you open up, or even go the opposite, help you go in and go inside and really evaluate who you really are. And that's going to change all the time. See, some are a little greener. And then some are gemmy, what they call gemmy, where they're sheer. I always have one. I usually have one on my body. This one, you probably can't see it, but it'll be in you can see a little bit. A hexagon shape is on the outside, and you'll see the flat, shiny. Oh, there's a little shine right there. So see, that's a flat, natural face. So that'll have more gem to it. It'll be more sheer, and then it's stronger on you. So. But you'll know if you like a stone or not by picking it up and you hold it and you go, oh, or you go, oh. So it depends where you are on your love scale of, like, if you're in the wounded area where you've just been divorced or you just separated, or you're just feeling really lonely or guilty from all these other relationships you've had. And then your throat chakra's like, no, you know? So you try an aquamarine, it'll help. Like, it's like this little pulse of like, okay, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right, baby. You can do it. You can do it. You know, and then you go to the beach, or you go to the mountains, and you're like, is everything going to be okay? You know, and then the world starts healing you back again. And aquamarines help you, encourage you to be braver, and it's okay. It's like an angel vibration right here when you get your angel guides and you feel those little tinglies in the back of your hair, and they help you encourage you gently, you know. And how's my time? 9:09. But those are like some simple ones for self-healing and self-love. And these aquamarines, Larimars, all these pinks, and even that orange selenite will just help gentle you. I've been watching some little horsey movies. I watch horsey movies, horsey shows, not the old cowboy ones, but the new ones. And there's all these, like, they talk about gentling the horses to teach them new things because they're so big and so strong, and they no, and they go, and people come to me going, well, my horse won't this, my horse won't that. And we've had all the doctors look, and the doctors say, no, you have to come in gently. And then they're like, oh, you're gentle. Okay, I'll tell you. So you have to gentle yourself about things, you know, gentle yourself. And then you'll go, all right, I guess I'll let that go, you know. So these little crystals can really help you gentle yourself and love yourself in a really simple way, whether it's on your neck as a pendant or in your bra, you know, or in your pocket. I like to encourage women to put them in their bras because we take that off first before the underwear. So if it's going to fall, you'll see it. But if you have those crystals in your pockets, you might not remember when you take your pants off. So I recommend, I have these little bra pouches. Should I show you? Can we show that on camera? These little velvety pouches that have a little bit of a velvet, so they stay and they don't slide out your arm like a shoulder pad in the 80s. We used to just stick them in our shirt, and then you shake your hand and your little shoulder pad comes out. That was embarrassing. Let's see what else. I don't know. Maybe that's good. What is that good, Beck?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me share your your information again. Definitely, like I said, if you're in California, and definitely get a set up a session with Debbie. I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it very much. I got to learn more about myself. JB got to learn more about himself.
It definitely elevated. I thought I did the work and just kind of realized it's a continuous thing. And then there's some deeper stuff that I needed to address, which I am much freer and just noticed the explosion of space and loving people now more open to collaborating versus I had so many opportunities before, but nothing ever fell through, whether they just cut me out or I said or did something that I was unconscious to that ruined it is because of holding on to some old energy and of course suppressing my emotion. So not accessing your heart or not accessing your emotion could play a part in the current life you have now. So consider whether it be Debbie or us is do the work and all the notes and videos we've taken so you could do the work within your heart, again, mentally, emotionally, physically, and just watch how your life manifests in something more towards what you desire,
Yeah.
more loving, more freeing, more opportunistic,
More joy. Yeah.
more joy, more consistency.
Yes. Yeah.
More fun. How about some more fun? We all need more fun.
Yes, we do. So I wanted to, oops, it didn't.
No, because you had to close it and reopen.
Yeah. So I'm just going to fast forward these real quick. Oops, there it is. So
Aw.
there's little Rebecca and little JB.
See, you're having fun there on the left.
Oh, I was a wild child. Let me
Are
tell
you?
you.
I was always in the trees. I was remembering that this week. I was always climbing in the trees, like 20 foot up, 40 foot up. You know, my parents were like, Debbie, where are you? That was me again this week.
That was me. Believe me, I was hanging on the swing
Oh,
set.
yeah.
I was a little monkey and just a ball of energy. And what I wanted to share this exercise, I want to share this exercise where I want you, if you can, if it helps you, pull out a picture of yourself when you were the happiest. This is why I picked out these pictures before kindergarten or preschool, before I started getting introduced to the world. But when I was in my little bubble at home and it was just me and my imagination and my creativity, this is what I recall as my happiest moment. My moments where I was just free as a little kid. I would run around the front yard in just a diaper. Everyone around in my neighborhood, there was a lot of elderly at that time. So I had a lot of grandmas and grandpas, and they all gave me candy, and that was the best thing ever. So I felt self-love, a lot of self-love. I felt a lot of love around me, but I'm going to share this exercise. So look at that picture of your little you and remember those happy moments. But now let's go to the root of that first time you didn't feel loved. And why did you not feel loved? And I'm going to share an experience that I went through. So like I said, before being introduced to school and just living in my little bubble at home, I felt love. It wasn't necessarily love from others, but I was just a ball of love, my own little unique me, little Rebecca. And I remember the first time I went to preschool, it was very scary because I had not been around many people before that. I was um, my parents were very helicopter parents. You know, they didn't let me go out, or, out a lot or be with it was always home. Home was my safe space. And so here I am being introduced to all these new kids, strangers. And so it was a little overwhelming. And getting used to developing relationships with other kids was a little hard because it was just me with adults most of the time. And so I remember, and going back to this occasion, Valentine's, I remember as a little girl, my mom helping me make all these Valentines for all my classmates. And I remember as I was handing them out, and everyone had a box. And you could see in the box how many everyone was getting, how it was getting fuller and fuller and fuller. That was the first time I remember that's the root of where I did not feel love.
Social shaming, man.
Yes, these little kids, they didn't like me. They didn't like how I was just so vibrant and full of energy and this happy-go-lucky kid. They didn't like that. And it wasn't because of me, it was whatever was going on in their homes, where they felt this need to lash out on that one vulnerable child.
Mm.
And I remember looking at my box and just seeing like 1 or 2 or 3 cards
Oh,
and just feeling very, very confused. Like, why don't they like me?
yeah.
What's wrong with me? I mean, I don't understand. And I remember coming home with my box and, my mom asking me like, oh, what did you get? And I just said, oh, I got this. And then I just kind of put it away, the box, and didn't even care for the box. And I remember after that, every year in school, I really hated Valentine's Day when at school, because I knew my box was always going to come back empty, almost empty.
So
And it was a really sad moment. But then I could look back at that time now. At that moment, it was horrible. I felt like, why? But then now I could look back and I recall that I did have a love around me all the time. And unfortunately, a lot of those children did not. So their way of showing love was just to pick certain people and, exclude the ones, just to make them feel what they were feeling, either at home or whatever situation they were in. And like they said, hurt people hurt others, so they were hurt, and now I understand that, because like I said, in the community I grew up in, unfortunately, my family was really stable. My dad was a very hard worker. He had a roof over our head, a lot of stability. But a lot of the kids around in my classroom or in my neighborhood, they did not have that stability. They were living in apartments, or they were moving constantly, or they didn't have the things I had. So it took a while for me to realize what it was really about. It wasn't about me. And so that's that's the lesson I want to share in this story. Those moments where you don't feel loved, or you feel like people are like pushing you away, it's not about you. It really isn't about you. It's about whatever is going on with them. So don't take that on.
right.
And like I said, take your power back. Like, no, you are loved, and whatever they bring into the picture, that's not yours for you to take, or not yours to attach to, you know. And so, do you want to share a little story of your little self?
I had a similar Valentine's where it was like a couple years with 1 or 2 cards that I think that's like that teacher assistant put in my box. And I grown to hate that ritual. And then of course, one of the lessons looking back at it now is like, well, that's one of some of those behaviors, even though with good intention, they build unhealthy behaviors if your love is based on the things you get
Mm-hmm.
versus the people or the experience you have. And then as time went on, my 8th year, when I turned 8 years old, invited all of my classmates, invited my neighbors. It was like an apartment complex of 10. There's quite a few kids down the road, invited my cousins. And for some reason, the only people there for my birthday was me, my mom, and my grandmother. Somehow my biological dad took my brother somewhere and they didn't even come back, I think till the next day or something. Something was going on where they couldn't be present for my birthday and no one showed up. And since then, again, me holding on, not knowing, was a good behavior habit to have. I never wanted to celebrate a single birthday since then. And it
Oh,
wasn't until someone that was dating a friend forced me to have a birthday party with my brothers at 25. It took that long for me to have
wow.
going out for dinner for a birthday kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And just thinking about it now, it's like, yeah, there's some stuff for me to process at the moment.
He's all getting teary-eyed here. He
Oh,
definitely,
baby.
and this is why it's a good exercise, because pulling, what I want to do right now is another exercise where, okay, we're pulling out, we just pulled out a weed right now. We're aware of this weed. So what I want you to do is imagine your body as this garden. And just like any garden, there will be weeds
If you don't maintain it.
if you don't maintain it. And even if you maintain it, there'll be one or two that sprout out of nowhere, and you're like, wait, I just cleaned the garden. Where did you guys come from?
Yeah.
So look at your body as this garden. And I want you to look at yourself. Just kind of have that outer body experience where you're just looking at your body as this garden. And find those weeds. And before you pull them, ask yourself, what is this about? Why is this weed here? Now that you're aware of it, ask some questions, and right when you pull it out, the forgiveness. Forgive yourself for having that weed there for so long. Or what was the purpose for that weed to be there is okay, it was there for some reason, but now it doesn't serve me no more. Let me pull the weed out. But in the integration part, what I want you to do is either whatever you've learned so far, or whatever makes you feel good, or what you feel as self-love, whether it be like Debbie, some crystals, or whether it be like me, my
Joanna.
favorite, what was it?
Joanna and her ice cream.
Or ice cream, yeah. Or
You and the beach.
I know, me, my beach, but I want you to replace that, because when you pull out the weed, something is left empty there. There's a little pivot there, little hole. And so what I want you to do is either plant something new, like a beautiful flower that could grow and evolve, or I want you to nurture that soil, play with the soil, make it beautiful, add some minerals to it, something to recycle it where it becomes new and positive again. And so for me, it would probably be planting a new gardenia, because I love gardenias.
Yeah.
Gardenias are my favorite flower. And like JB shared yesterday, we had gotten a pot for our wedding. And I remember being very careful about it, like not to put it in the sun because it'll burn. Well, unfortunately, one day
It's cleaning day or something.
he was cleaning and he left it out on the sun, and my whole gardenia burned. And I was so upset. I remember I was so upset at JB, like, why did you burn my gardenia?
You burned my plant.
And
She's like, throw it out.
I was like so upset. I'm like, I wanted to push it away because it was too hard for me to see it that way. And he's like, no, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. And he did. And that gardenia has rebloomed and it's beautiful green again. And he did that. And I appreciate that, because to me, that was the most beautiful act of love he could have ever done for me, because it showed that he really cared.
And to find somebody who will care for your beat up gardenia. And you did. Very good.
Yes. So, it's learning those moments, going back again, go back to your little self. Remember those moments where the very first time you did not feel self-love, or you were harsh on yourself, or you said something nasty to yourself, oh, you're not good for this, or you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Try to go back to those moments and nurture them, turn them around, and again, like I said, view your body as this garden and pull that weed out and nurture it and put something there positive for it to continue growing into something better and evolving you. And like Debbie said, and we've been saying, giving it room, it gives it room to grow or add something better, exactly. So that's why I wanted to bring up these pictures. We brought them up yesterday to do an inner child exercise, but I want to continue with that because I know when you work with your inner child and you go back to those moments, they could be very healing because you'll, like I said, you'll start pulling out the first time that happened. So when you could go back in time and the first moment you felt anger, the first moment you felt sadness, the first moment you felt abandoned, the first moment you didn't feel love, when you could go back to that first moment
The root.
and heal that moment, it like from there to now, presently, it brings you to a much more present sense of love, self-love, and realizing like, I'm okay. I learned now from that experience why certain patterns, maybe certain destructive behaviors or habits that you have formed through your lifetime can get rid of that. It could go away easily because you went to the root of the problem that formed those bad habits or that destructive behavior or the pattern of, the relationships, not picking up, not healthy relationships. When you could go back to the root, you eliminate that pattern, that cycle of continuing that.
Example for me is as a kid, my biological father, for some reason, could not keep up with the bills, even though he was generating enough income. And we moved every 3 months. None of my relationships lasted more than 3 months.
Mhm.
The few that did were not really the healthiest because of the lack of me to let go or fear of being alone or desiring to okay, so that's where that stemmed from. But now I can look back at it. It's like, okay, that's what happened to happen then. Why does it have to be that? Like, why do I have to fear? It's not important for any relationship because I'm going to move again.
Mhm.
And it translated to, once I did the work, it opened up the space, the capacity for me to have a loving relationship.
Yeah.
Once I did the work to love myself, it opened up the capacity for me to have loving people in my life.
Mhm.
And of course, it's a continuous lifestyle to do these different exercises and find what tool is more effective for you, whether it's journaling, whether it's crystals, whether it's an ice cream, whether it's going to the beach, whether it's just intimate conversations with your significant others or a good friend. Depending on the lifestyle or type of relationship you desire, how can you love yourself?
Okay, very good. So I'm opening it up. So if there's any questions that you have, Mia, for us, this is an opportunity to kind of ask, like, if there's anything else you want to add to the tool.
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you that thank you for sharing your stories, your childhood stories, because I got really emotional when you shared because it hit. I experienced the same thing on Valentine's Day with the mailbox, the little box not getting very full, and then JB, with you, just like you, my father moved us every single year. So I never had a chance to establish like long-term relationships. And now I understand why, like all of my love relationships never lasted more than a few years. And they struggled after the first year. And if they lasted more than a year, it was just the last few years were really just struggling. So I just want to thank you for sharing that because I think that kind of opened up things that I had suppressed that I didn't even realize were affecting me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I obviously need to do a lot of inner child work. The thing for me though is that I really I don't remember a lot of my childhood, and the things that I do remember are like foggy and only partial, and there were a lot of sad stuff. So I wish I could go back to the first memory that made me the happiest, but I don't know what that is. I just honestly can't think of anything
Okay.
other than, I mean, I could think of things with my grandfather. but I can't like really take it back to like a certain age or date or anything. I don't know how important that is. And as far as pictures go, I don't really have, I have like maybe 3 or 4 pictures of me as a child, and and they're when I was like a baby, you know. So I don't really have pictures that I can refer back to.
Yeah, the
So
happy
how do you,
pictures. Yeah, it's hard to
huh?
find those happy pictures, but
Yeah, and I do have a picture of me when I was like maybe 5 or 6, but I was pouting in that picture. So
I know
Yeah.
my Valentine stories, I always remember, and that comes up to this, that even came up last week, you know, and I'm a few decades old. I always had a crush. It was always about the boys with
Yeah.
Valentine's. And so I always had a crush on like the really quiet, odd guy, you know, and I'm still that way. I like the quiet, odd guy because he's thinking. And so I'd be waiting for the, you know, and I never told him I had a crush on him, you know, and you're waiting for that little Valentine, or it's in his mother's writing or whatever, you know, and it never connected. It never came into the box, or you're just waiting. And yeah. And so you have this whole scenario in your head about the expectation, what you want, how you want it to be, you know, what's going to happen afterward. And then nothing happens, and then you're let down, and then you're mad, and then you're like, I hate Valentine's. And it's just like, yeah, it's still here. So I know my daughter and her friends, she's like in her 20s, so they do all sorts of new little things, galentines, you know, with their girlfriends and stuff like that. And it's still super sore for me, Valentine's. It's hard. But I'm still the same way, that liking the quiet guy, not really talking to him about it, hoping, waiting, getting disappointed, you know. And then you can pick up bad habits about avoiding it, or avoiding the situation and not talking about it. And oh, I'm done. That's me. I'm the little grumpy girl stomping off. I'm gonna go do something else by myself. So I'm still definitely that person. But yeah, Valentine's is tough. It's tough. But yeah, that damn little box. They make it a big obligation now, where they have to, you can, if you don't bring it for everybody, you can't bring it at all. So
Yeah.
what are they doing now? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing that now where everybody has.
Valentine's.
But yeah, no, I wanted to bring that story up because I know it's very relatable. You know, because like you said, it was something that was done when we were children. And, you know, we've come a long way of learning now. Now, teachers, like you said, they will make sure, like, they'll give you a list and you have to bring one for everybody. There's nothing, there's no like extra special ones for anybody. It's just the same thing for everybody, which I appreciate because it has come evolved in a long purpose where I don't see my daughter experiencing that. And that brings me joy, knowing that my daughter will not experience the feeling of like, why does not everyone like me, or why did so and so didn't give me one, you know. So for her, it's easy to build relationships. I mean, even right now with COVID, and she's home, I'm homeschooling her, so she's not around a lot of kids. She's an only child, but she makes friends through Fortnite, and she makes friends through YouTube. And I'm like, how is she
How
capable?
wild is that, right? Man,
It's so wild just seeing her like just make these new friendships and relationships with people.
their aura's going out farther, you know, they're new
Yes.
people.
And the best part, this is the part where I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me be able to teach her this, healthy boundaries. When one of those kids on Fortnite, if they're being rude, and she says it's so funny, she's all, that kid was not being a gentleman. So I told him. And it's so cute seeing her do that. Like, nope, you need to leave. You are not welcome in my Fortnite game anymore because you're not being a gentleman. And it's just like,
My door to you. Yeah.
She's so opinionated. What'd she say about my photos?
oh, yes, it was so funny. So she saw the little JB pictures because that was the first time she's seen them, you know. And then she goes, wow, JB was a cute little kid. Not anymore, but he was a cute little kid.
Those preteens
maybe
are
my
brutal.
Like, but it's just like kind of relating
yeah.
to you, Mia. It's like a lot of my childhood memories, most of like remember, are painful or uncomfortable.
Yes, he has a lot of
And
them.
you know, so similar story. again, just work with what you got and then tap into the other senses as you do the 4 steps or whichever process aligns with you, whether it's, uh, Debbie's version or Joanna's version or Patty's version. They all are effective for a reason. And of course, trust your heart. That's one thing we want to do is you to trust your heart. That one of these guides will kind of guide you through the process. Okay, all I can remember, something traumatic happened to me at 3 years old.
Mhm.
And I get just flashes, but then, okay, it was very traumatic. And
Yeah.
I just focused on the emotion. What was I feeling?
Yes.
Why did I feel that? Which then led me to another memory, almost a picture of me when I had a puppy, or introduced to like almost like my soulmate, but in an animal form.
Mhm.
But all I can remember or recall doing this process is like kind of like me holding a puppy, but it was like blue, and I couldn't adjust the color, I couldn't change it. It's like okay, and then I see like the puppy almost like Photoshop separate from me. So okay,
Mm.
and just kind of going with the visual, going with the emotions.
Mhm.
Um, all right, so it's about separation. It's about me,
Truth,
my love being
truth.
taken away from me, my soulmate, my buddy. And that kind of led to the trauma experience that I did it to feel connected, to feel love. So when I did the process, accepting, not really going in deep why or who I did it with, and I could get those answers, say tap into your spirit, but
Mhm.
why? If I could just focus on where energy or vibration or the work has to be done, was back to this image of connection.
Mhm.
And I remember as like what you were saying, Mia, not being able to remember a lot of your childhood. There, for me, it was second grade, age 7. That whole year is gone for me. I know something big happened during that time. What? I don't know. But I've always been curious to know what happened to me at age 7, or why can't I remember that whole year? And I brought it up to with my holistic doctor, because we do a lot of inner child, going to the root work. And that one is it's just not touchable. So the best way my holistic doctor explained it to me, that there's a certain situations, because our body,
Because you're not ready.
yeah, our bodies are healers, because our bodies are made to heal, and our bodies are also made to protect. Just like when you fall and you sprain your foot, your your ankle, your muscles, your blood, your white blood cells will all go there to protect, and that's why you can't move it. If that's why it swells up, that's why
It's like a natural cast.
it's a natural cast. So your body is not only there to heal, but also to protect. And you'll notice that afterwards, even when it's healed, it's really hard to move that ankle again, because the body's still protecting it. And it isn't until you give it that therapy and retrain the muscle and let the muscle know that it can move again without getting hurt again, is when some of that protective barrier will start going away. So what I want to say is, sometimes our body, what it's done is created these protective vessels during those times. That's why they're so foggy.
Times of healing,
Yes.
while it's healing, until you're ready to.
Until you're ready to see, or just leave it alone. Like my holistic doctor said, sometimes they're just not meant to be seen. Sometimes. And so with that, I've made peace with that, where we've done a lot of work where I've made peace with that. Like, okay, I'm not meant to know. I've even had hypnotherapy. I can't, nothing brings it back. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not meant to know what happened. It's protecting me for a reason. And I love myself for that, because it's like, oh, okay, thank you, body, or thank you, my protective shield within me, for protecting me of that and keeping me happy and healthy. And so in a way, it's like also forgiving it and letting it know that thank you for doing that for me. And so I've been able to move on and not view it as something bad anymore. Now I just view it as like a moment of protection.
I'm hearing real solid about the 7-year veil. Kids have it's called the 7-year veil up to age 7. And then they let go more of the fairies and they start seeing what's right in front of them with being cool and being, like their kids who are around them. So that could be your total shift from being totally ethereal and fun and running around to, oh, I should be like this. I need to do this. And it could be, so you've closed off, you could have had some fabulous psychic stuff that you saw and seen through and seen angels and seen guides and fairies and stuff. And you're like, wow, look at this. And someone said, don't talk about that. Don't, that's not, because I know you've had some of those where you saw things and families like, no, don't talk about that, and so you were super, super clear. And then they're like, no. And then you get tamped down. And then
Yes.
we don't open up again till that certain age, till we're ready. But I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Yeah.
Mia. So there's some ways you can open up the fun part. Like you mentioned your grandfather, and if you can remember some tiny little things that you enjoyed with him. And then that, like you were talking about, you can't look at things until you heal up a little bit before you can look at it. Or you can just remember some of the beautiful things, even if it was just, that bush you like to go and smell the flowers at his house, and remember tiny little beautiful things that you can remember, like, oh yeah, I like that. I like that. And you can also, that'll calm your system so you can heal it. And then you can also, whether you're open up or not, it doesn't really matter. It's just what you're going through right now. You might not remember it till you're 82 and some grandchild comes up and tells you some story. You go, oh yeah, I remember that. And then boop, you've healed it. Or you can rewrite the situation. You can rewrite it how you would have really liked it to be. I do that with past life work. Like you can look at the past life and it's super shocking. You're like, oh no, but you can also like, well, this is what I wish would have happened. And you can build those pictures. Like we have all these pictures from our childhood, but you can build new pictures of like, yeah, that feels good to me. I want that to happen, or that would make, and then you can still be empowered by your new pictures that you've built. You can, and it's creativity, absolutely. But it's also, instead of being afraid of seeing something, you're like, well, I can picture this, and you can literally make that happen now just with visualization,
Yeah.
Okay.
Use your other senses. In other
Mhm.
words, smell, taste, hear, felt, whatever. Taste. Follow the process that aligns to you, and it might feel fun in sense like those mystery rooms, escape rooms.
Yeah.
You only
Oh,
find
that
one
sounds
clue.
so horrible to me. Lock me up. That was probably my worst childhood memory is my mom used to lock me in my room all the time.
Yeah.
Probably because I was going to ask you, Becca, were you ever locked in your room because you're always jumping around and hanging off of things? Did you ever get locked up?
That I wasn't given permission to go out a lot. And if I did, I could only play in my front yard. And so what I did, like what you were saying, I actually found comfort in the closet. We used to have a big walk-in closet. And
Uh-huh.
my mom had my dollhouse there. And even my psychologist, because I did receive therapy in my late 20s. And my psychologist said, you developed a very good habit, which is called detaching.
Mhm.
So when things did not feel good for me, I would detach.
Nice.
So playing, for me, the closet and playing in my dollhouse and going to another world or creating something else helped me to learn how to detach from situations. So now I have that healthy habit of when something doesn't feel right, boom, I detach.
That is good. Or I'm working on how you can detach from an emotion and take it to neutrality, so that you can really let it go. That's hard. I'm like Cancer, Scorpio. I got these like passionate water signs. I'm like, no emotion. But yeah, I used to be locked up like my mom would lock the door from the outside my bedroom. And then even when I was in high school, they put a padlock on the outside. I had a door to the yard and they had a padlock to inside the house, and they would literally lock me in my room all the time. And it wasn't like I did anything really dramatic. I guess my mom just wanted to know where I was. But to this day, I like to leave all my doors unlocked. I like to have all my windows open. I like to be outside because I'm afraid I'm going to be trapped again. And that's hard. Like, and so in relationships too, if I have a man who's like trying to control me or keep me in this even like a visual box, you know, when guys put you on their pedestal, on their mantle, and then just take you down occasionally. I mean, I need to be fully transparent and in, you know, open and free all the time, or that locked up feeling comes in. I had a big closet. I had the big Barbie camper world in there with that.
Yeah.
That was fun. Barbie camper. That was fun.
I felt just like you, Rebecca. I wasn't locked like I wasn't locked up in my room with a physical lock, but my dad, when I'd come home from school, he wouldn't let me go and play with anybody else. And I was basically like a prisoner to the home,
Yeah.
you know, and if he didn't want me around, I would pick up on those cues and then I would go to my room. Or if I was in trouble, you know, go to your room. So there was a lot of room time for me. And now I don't know why. Well, I'm sure you guys could probably guess why, but now I do find comfort in just being in the house.
Yeah.
But even when that gets to be too much for me, I like to be outside a lot too. Unfortunately, the allergies now that are starting is keeping me locked up inside again. But anyway, I can just really relate to even now, you know, as an adult with my husband's family, I feel like they don't like me just because I am an empath. And so I can feel, even they don't have to say anything, I can feel that they don't like me. I can feel just how standoffish they are around my energy, and they don't try to get to know me. They don't invite me to do stuff. So then it takes me back to my childhood as I'm not invited, I'm rejected, you know, and
Gotta
it
go
just,
to my room. Yeah.
yeah, all over again. And then as far as like the addressing, you know, Rebecca, you were saying about some things are just meant to not, you're not meant to know. But at the same time, I feel because I don't know some of these things, my body's been holding on to these so long now. I have an immune disorder, and you were talking about the throat chakra. You kept feeling like something throat. That's me. You're picking that up for me because I have issues with my throat, and going into anaphylaxis, having allergies to food and things. And I know that's coming from a lot of the hurt and trauma that I received in the past. But if I don't address those things, I feel like my body's going to continue to go through this process.
That's
So
what
for me-
allergies are. Little things bugging you, little issues. But it could be your relatives you're feeling, and you're feeling in here and you start sneezing or choking or coughing or being irritated. Yeah, it's little like light blue. I like light blue calcite. It's really good for that. It just takes those little irritants off of you so you don't feel like it's closing in on you. You can shake that off. Takes time. There you go. See right there.
Oh yeah, I just did it. I didn't even realize. I didn't realize that I did.
Yeah.
But you're aware of it, and that's the number one part. You're aware that it's going on, and that helps release it. Just there, I'm aware. Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's for, I guess for you, Mia, is really forming a new, what would you call it? Setting up a program for yourself. Like, take this time to journal. Okay, I
Yeah,
felt
right,
this
this-
allergy. What was going on at that moment? Try
Okay.
to be start expanding
Back up it. Yeah.
your
Back it up.
awareness. Yeah, like what was going on at that moment? You know, why is this allergy? I know I ate this, but I've eaten it before, but I didn't react till now. So why is it reacting now? But so now look outside the box. What was going on in my environment? What was I feeling?
Mhm.
Was there any ache or pain in my body during that time? Was there any emotion?
Who did I talk to yesterday? What did
Yeah.
I dream about the night of that night? And then it comes.
Try to start linking those patterns
Like a private investigator.
Yeah, so you're gonna really become an investigator of yourself, and then you'll all of a suddenly it'll emerge the pattern, and then you'll be like, "That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That's what I need to work on. That's the get
Yeah,
the
'cause,
pull
like
that."
I just got home from a long trip, and yeah, my throat, I was sneezing again. I'm like, is it because I live too close to the freeway? And then I'm like, no, it's because I live too close to all these people. It's just, I've been out in the trees where there was no one, and my lungs are like, no rattle, no headache, no beep in my ears.
Mhm.
And then it get back here, it's like, and then
Mhm.
I'm like, no, we're not going to let that affect my ears again. We're not going to let that affect my skin again. We're not going to, like, my mouth is a radiator. It gets all bothered inside my mouth. And so, but that goes to digestion and the fear and what did I eat? And I'm always like, what I eat, what I eat. And then it's like, I think it's just literally being amongst all these people again. So it's not always you, darling. It's not always you. It's like, it can be the folks around you. So you can ground them, take the ground them, and start and help them release and ground it to the earth and let it out through the water table. And then all of a sudden, oh, my ears feel okay. Oh, my skin feels okay. Oh, my throat, I'm not going all this. So you can do that too. It's not always just you. It can be,
Yeah, I think you're
Your
onto
neighbors.
something. Yeah, you're definitely onto something, because I have learned in the last few months, about the empath, and that I am one, and I definitely in being in the city, I definitely feel different than when I used to live in Oregon also.
Oh, you
So
did?
yeah. So when I go to places like Oregon or Alaska that I've been to, or up north in Arizona where it's foresty and everything, when I get in those places, I feel like a different person. Something shifts within me. And my
Right.
husband and I are now wanting to move to Portugal, and we're making plans to do that.
I would
And
love to go to Portugal. I'm like Portugal and Spain, Portugal and Spain. And then there's the west coast of France connects to Portugal. And it's like, I want to go there so bad.
yeah, one of the reasons why
I
we're
would-
moving is, well, he's retiring, but we're both water signs. We're both Scorpios, and we love being near the water. We feel different amongst the water. Plus, I do feel like I need to get away from the city, and just from like the mentality of the United States in general. And
There's a lot of us.
how everything is kind of like run here. Because I've always felt like I don't fit in. I don't fit in. I don't fit in. And I could go anywhere. I've lived in other states. I could go anywhere and still feel like I don't fit in. And I think it's just because of the grind, the daily grind. I don't fit in with that daily grind, And so I've never felt like I've been able to be my true self. And I feel like I'm being called to Portugal, because, well, I do have Portuguese and Spanish background.
Yeah, you got that in your blood. I can feel it.
Yeah, I do. And my husband has European roots also. So it just feels like a calling, like for us to go there. And the type of people that are there,
They're
a
sweet
lot
water
of,
people.
huh?
They're sweet water people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of you expats, they're expatriates, but their mentality was kind of like mine, is like they didn't feel like they fit in here, so they're going to this other place.
Yeah.
So we're going to, because of my health. I realize that like the 5Gs that they're building all around us and things like that, I pick up on a lot of electrical things, and I get the ringing in the ears, and throat stuff and allergies and all that stuff. So I know I'm being affected by my environment and the people around me.
What city are you in? Where are you at?
Chandler, Arizona.
Okay. Is
So
that
it's
north or south?
East Valley. So what would you say? It's
30 minutes from Phoenix.
Phoenix. It's basically
You're
next
south.
to Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
south. Yeah. The air's a little thicker down there, isn't it? By Phoenix. Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
time-
I mean, you can see the congestion, and it's going to get worse because a lot of people are moving here.
Are moving out. Yeah. A lot of people move. I was just looking at that YouTube this morning. The big exodus from California.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're coming here, and they're going to Florida too. Miami. Oh, yeah. And I'm glad we're able to do this. You know, we're blessed to be able to do this year that my husband's retiring, because we were supposed to wait for another year. And I told him, I said, I don't think I'll survive here. I'm going to just keep getting more and more sick, you know, if I'm constantly around this environment.
Yes.
And I
Definitely.
know that's kind of negative talk, but I feel it. I feel like I
No, you're
can't be in the environment.
Healthy boundaries.
You can also tell yourself to, I don't have to be sick to leave. I want to leave, but I don't have to be sick to leave. You know, you don't have to get sicker and that's what's making you leave. You can go because you're choosing to go. You know, you want to go to Portugal. Shit, I want to go to Portugal. I'm going to come visit you and I don't even know you.
Please do. We want visitors.
Do you know any Portuguese?
We're learning. I
It's
know
tricky. Yeah.
bom dia, and obrigada is thank you.
And Saudi, that's their toast.
Yeah, salute. Yeah, it's a lot like Spanish. Honestly, I mean, there's our major differences, but I can look at Portuguese words that I haven't even learned yet, and I can be like, that's what that means because I know some in Spanish. So
Yeah, Spanish, Italian, French, all put together, I think.
right.
They're fast though.
I know that's going to be the struggle. That's definitely going to be the struggle. But we also found out, because there is such a large expatriate
Yeah.
over there, you really don't need to learn the language, although we are going to, but we can ease into it. We don't have to learn it before we go.
Bam, yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely start practicing those mantras. Like, I don't have to be sick,
Yeah.
Debbie was saying. And also, I'm creating healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Don't give it that negative connotation where I have to leave and I
I
feel,
can't go till I'm so sick I have to go. Yeah.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm creating healthy boundaries. I am finding my safe space, you know, and
Safe
it's,
space. Yeah.
it's going to be your safe space, your sanctuary, your place. It's
Your
going to
heaven. It's gonna be your heaven on earth, man. We're supposed to have heaven on earth. We don't have to die till we get to heaven. You can have it right here.
Yes, you can.
And
Yeah.
that Portugal, you know, Portugal could be.
Definitely reminded me of an article I read. Some bloggers shared their story where they spent tens of thousands of dollars on all sorts of face creams and face doctors visits, and they couldn't do anything for her acne. She listened to some kind of not say story. She listened to that little voice in her head or in her intuition, and she was pulled to Australia.
Mhm.
And in a week or two of moving to Australia,
Her skin cleared up.
There.
Yeah.
but then again, as she does, calling back, well, I was having issues with the family or not being true to myself. And she was kind of laying out the work that she's already done mentally, physically. She had to make the change.
Mhm.
Effective, which then her physically result, because she did
Yeah.
mental and emotional work, but none of it worked.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
she positioned herself in a place that allow that energy to just flow.
And
Can you
another,
send me that article if you remember? Or
It was a while, but I'll look for it again.
oh, okay. Don't worry about it.
Wasn't yesterday.
and the other suggestion would be like, I've heard several times you refer like, I'm not accepted in my husband's family.
Mhm.
You really need to release that.
Story.
Yeah.
You need to release that story because that's not for you to take. That's not your story.
Yeah.
You're attaching yourself to that, and you need to release that and say, you know what? I'm not going to take it personal no more because it's not really about me. It's about
Right.
them. That's
Yeah. And they don't know how to talk to you. They don't know what to say, or even just sometimes if you're super interested in all the metaphysical, it threatens their religious beliefs and they don't know what to say, whether they believe in any of it or not. They're afraid to say any of it. And then you feel that's just what you're feeling, not even their words. You're just feeling that little fear of theirs. And you're like, oh, they're not connecting to me. I don't fit. When they might, if they were okay to talk about something, but they're scared. They're just frightened. You're
yeah.
just the evolved one. There's always one person in the family who's more evolved than the rest to help the rest of the family evolve, but you can't always crack them. You can try, I have a brother I don't talk to, but you can try. You just do your best. And then when you get tired, you pull back in and it's okay. It's okay.
Like, oh, so Patty was putting on the comments, is everything we are goes with us. Make a choice and be good with it. Use the RAT, which is recognize, acknowledge, and take action on your truth. I like that. And so she calls it the RAT. So recognize, acknowledge, take action on your truth.
Again, if
Oh.
that's with you, go for it. Like I said, there's different processes that work, and
Mhm.
just again, come from a mental, emotional, and physical. Mentally, rewrite the story. Emotionally, release the negative, the sadness, the guilt, the shame.
Yeah.
Physically,
Shame.
it could be a cup of coffee, go for a walk, whatever that is for you. So you gotta create your own.
Yeah, because we did the 22-day challenge, Mia, and you remember movement is one of them.
Yes.
That
Yep.
movement that is very healing. For me, it's that one Tai Chi move where I just kind of like just go back and I'll use my hands to just collect energy. And as I'm collecting it, like right now, I could feel it. I'm like hitting chills all over my body. So
Nice.
I do this movement for me, and I just sway back and forth, and I just close my eyes, and I'm just feeling that energy. Especially right now when you were saying I can't really go outside, but I want to go do that movement. It's so such a ritual healing movement where you feel, because you start feeling that breeze. It almost feels like you're outside now, and you're like, and you just feel like this. It's almost like a breeze, like if you were in just some kind of vortex, and you could just feel this energy and this breeze. It's
Energy.
almost like it's transporting you somewhere, so find those moments or those movements that help you, get to that place, that sacred space, because not only are you going to go to your sacred space, but you could also create sacred spaces within yourself. And that's really important, being able to detach yourself and go to that sacred space where you could heal. And that's where I usually do most of my own personal healing. If I'm like something's affecting me, I will literally just throw myself on the bed, but I don't just fall asleep. I'll just go to my sacred space. And for me, it's always transporting myself to this beautiful cliff overseeing the ocean, almost like if I'm in Ireland. I've seen it on movies and I'm like, ooh, there's my sacred space.
Yeah. My happy place.
Yeah, it is. Maybe we need to move to Ireland. But but it's literally a cliff, this beautiful grassy cliff.
And then you see the water.
I see the ocean,
Yeah.
and then you just see this beautiful beam of light just coming over me. And I'm always in this white dress, and I'll just feel the breeze, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
and I will be doing that in bed, and then next thing you know, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's like it's amazing work to learn those habits and those rituals and those, just doing practice
Simple.
what feels good for you and continue practicing it.
Yeah. And keep trying till you feel something, like people have trouble, everyone has trouble with meditation. Don't ever feel bad about that. Everybody has trouble because we got so much coming in now. And you mentioned 5G. It's like, yeah, now it's coming in even faster, but you can ground your house. You can ground, like you can do it simple with like, put an angel in every corner, help them ground that energy out, put it down into the earth, into the water table and whoosh it away. And keep grounding. I came home with these big raw hematites that are like this big, specifically to fight the 5G thing. And but I have a bunch of scientists and mathematician friends, and they're saying that's nothing compared to like if the cars that, how the cars, how they can react to the car in front of you to keep a pace on the freeway. So that's the beginning of us cars not needing us having to drive them, that they can, the Elon Musk thing about all of our cars just driving on their own in the underground tunnels. Now, when they get the energy to make those work, that's when we're going to be in trouble, because it's going to be too strong for our bodies and our hearts and our brains and stuff. But the more spirit work you do, darling, the more spirit work you do and pull that energy in and use it, makes you stronger. And that 5G can't get you, that stronger energy can't get you. The more white light you pull in, the stronger radiating creature you are. And you can push that out. And even your allergies, you can push that stuff right out. Like when I got home, like last night, I was just like, oh no, wait. And then luckily my neighbors are gone for 3 days who live behind me. So now it's like I can expand again. So yeah, and it's gonna come and go. It's not like you just do it once and you're there. You gotta do it all the time. Right.
Yeah, practice, like Patty said, practice is the key. And she
Say
said
say the rat thing again. What is it?
it's recognize, acknowledge, take action on your truth. Yeah, and I love little Patty's remarks here. No blame, shame, guilt, or sickness is necessary to make a choice that works for you.
Right. There you go.
I like that. She always gives me good stuff.
Little bits.
Little bits here, yeah.
She's adorable.
Yeah, she goes, no matter where you go, you'll be with you. And as Glida Radner would say, there's always something.
Mhm.
Gilda Radner. It's
Mhm.
always something. Yeah. That
There's
little
always
thing.
And
Yeah,
be-
I know you can't run from problems or yourself, that even switching locations, things are going to
yes.
manifest and follow you and all of that. So I'm very aware of that, because most of my adult life I've been running. Just like my dad moved us every year, I moved my son and I every year. I
I
always
wrote-
was. Go ahead.
I wrote an article called The Gypsy Gene.
Oh,
And it's exactly that about, and I think because by Portugal is and Andorra, and then we're in Basque country, and Basque is a very ancient DNA, and you might have that. I feel like I have it, even though I'm a real blondie. But it's a real early gypsy gene. Well, they were always migrating in their little wagons, tinkling things hanging and going over this hill and that hill and selling the wares and doing their thing. It's a gypsy gene. And I always said I had that too, where, because we moved every 2 years, exactly, every 2 years. It's also a missionary thing. So you're always moving and changing and healing and all that stuff. But it's in your genes. Like, I need to go somewhere. I need to go somewhere.
yeah. Actually, it's funny you said that, because I used to call my a lot of my social media was the gypsy soul.
Oh, neat. Oh, cool. Well, there you go. But
Yeah.
Scorpios can do a lot. If you're both Scorpios, you guys can do so much stuff. So
We
that's
do.
why you're here. You're not just hanging out watching, you're doing stuff. So
We do stuff almost to probably are, and we do so much stuff all the time. People are always saying, you guys are always doing something or always going.
she goes,
Yeah.
yeah, Scorpios can burn out though too. They go and do so much that until they're completely shot till they
Until
stop.
we are. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have Scorpio rising. I know that one.
So we want to respect time because it's already almost 10:10. And so I want to just thank Debbie. We will be seeing you soon on Monday.
Yeah, Monday, big day.
Yeah, that'll
Big
be-
day. Eat your Wheaties on Sunday, so you'll be strong. Eat your carbohydrates.
yeah, we're going to be doing healing sessions together. We're going to be going to San Diego with Joanna to do a healing session.
And Joanna wants to film that night for the goddess circle that night.
So I know, Mia, you're in Arizona, so I'll send you the link to see if you could join us. What time do we set it for?
I think it's at 6 in the evening.
At
We're
6?
starting our healing deals at 10, right?
No, 12 noon.
12. Okay.
We're picking you up. We're picking you up at that time.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think it's going to be live. It's not going to be a live production. It'll be a recorded one.
A
So,
recorded one. Okay. So, but I think we're gonna set it up where we could include people if they can't be present or something like that.
yeah.
That
something
way
like-
we could record it like that. But we'll figure it out. I'll send you the link anyways.
Yeah, it's a goddess circle I've done for a long time, or women's circle. And then I stopped it for a little while because it got really, really big. And they would all come here. And so I stopped for a while, and then I started doing it online just a little bit until we could do it in person. So we're gonna do it in person at Joanna's house. She has a pretty little house. And yeah, we'll gather, and then eventually we'll all get more of us get together. But she wants to record it every month so that people out of town can see it, like you. Okay.
Great. And can I get that article you wrote, the Gypsy Gene? Can I get access to it?
Yeah, I'll find it and send it to you. I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's short. It's only like, it was I write for a few magazines. It's only like 1,000 words, But yeah, it's a spiritual thing too. I think it doesn't have to be always just because our parents moved a lot, but it is a little bit of programming that we like, oh, it's time to go. But it's also because you like progress. You like the progress. So but yeah, I'll send-
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks, everybody.
all right, hon. Nice to see you.
Thank you, and enjoy your beautiful day. And I will see everyone tomorrow on Valentine's Day, 8 a.m. We're gonna have 2 activities that I think everyone's gonna really enjoy. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow and just celebrating, turning that page around of that, what used to be Valentine's for us as children. We're gonna turn that around and we're gonna enjoy Valentine's Day together. Like I said, with people that really we are together with for love, so it's going to turn that page around.
So I'm not waiting for that quiet, weird boy to send me a note.
So thank
I'll
you.
just sleep with a lot of these. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.